Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we're going to talk about why AEW's biggest storyline fizzled out.
A big return on tonight's AEW Dynamite.
The latest on AEW's creative makeover.
And an update on MJF versus Adam Cole. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I am William Doolittle at your service.
This is the news.
All right, let's kick this one off by talking about the Young Bucks.
Oh, good.
Tony Khan, neck braces, the Elite, attacking the owner, power struggle.
I remember it
figures, all of this storyline, the authority figure stuff, all this. Remember it?
Sadly, yes.
I'm going to tell you why it kind of fizzled out. So it started with Tony in the neck brace and all that stuff, and it was funny, but also it was quite effective, wasn't it? Like him showing up on the NFL draft
I was about to mention that, yeah.
That was really funny. After that, it kind of died. We've still got Christopher Daniels as an authority figure somehow. Mm-hmm. It's weird. But hey, listen, the reason that frittered away in the parlance of our times was because Tony Khan doesn't want people leaving with the impression that other people are in control or something like that, right? This is Wade Keller on PW Torch. He's always got a few AEW scoop skis flying around there. I'm just going to read his quote because that's the best way to illustrate this. The extent to which Tony wants credit, and this is just kind of crazy, but the Young Bucks storyline where they use their EVP powers to try and take over when Tony Khan was gone in the neck brace, that storyline kind of fizzled because Tony Khan did not want, even in storyline, viewers to think that he wasn't responsible for everything happening on the shows. And it just ran out of steam because everybody lost interest and because there's no way to do the angle. As originally conceived, if the Bucks did have control and Tony Khan didn't want, even in the storyline, someone else booking the show, even if he was approving of all the decisions the Young Bucks did in character. So basically, some people are shocked because it seemed to come out of nowhere because he was well liked and respected. So yeah, Big Tone doesn't want the illusion that other people are in charge.
Yeah, I think enough time has passed now that we can admit that it was a bit of a rubbish decision to make, all in all. It was like it generated a lot of talk, a lot of buzz around it, so fair enough on that part. But yeah, I mean, Sige expressed concerns about it from the beginning, as you did, as many did, because it just never felt like it fit with AEW, this. And I don't think anyone actually would have thought, Jesus, he's lost power, the EVPs are in control, because every single week from week one, it was like, oh my God, the EVPs are in control, and they're booking AEW Dynamite, kind of the exact way that it was being booked before in terms of like regular matches, promo segments, etc., etc. So I don't think anyone would have got that confused, and also everyone's so switched on now. We all know what's going on, come on, right? Yeah. But yes, obviously, you've got TNT champion Jack Perry, you've got tag champions, the Young Bucks, they're getting heat, but I don't think they're getting heat because of like, damn you for putting Tony in a neck brace! Yeah. It's different. People just dislike Jack Perry, and I think he's embraced that role very well, and the Young Bucks obviously are great as heels. But yeah, this is a weird, I've read this about 3 times this morning because I was just like, sorry?
Yeah.
He thought people might think, well, why bother tuning into Dynamite now? Anything could happen.
Yeah, it's a strange reasoning from him. Not my favourite storyline. No. I think that if you're trying to position yourself as a challenger brand, you should not do so many things that the lead brand does. And, WWE, not so much anymore, but over the years have done a gazillion heel authority figure angles. So, like, in a way, I'm kind of glad that it didn't work, but also it's not good.
It's not still going, yeah.
Yeah, it's not good creative, and I think that this elite run, oh boy, I mean, the Bucks have been pretty good in ring recently.
Yeah, great match against Private Party, yeah.
Yeah, and the Fletcher Ospreay match was fantastic, but creatively they felt a bit flat for a long time, even with the heel turn and these new secession characters with the entrance theme that they're doing. I think that Jack Perry has not worked at all. I think he should really be playing a sniveling little runt, like a heel, as we'd say.
Dominic Mysterio.
Dominic Mysterio, but with more chops and like working chops. And he doesn't wrestle to the character.
No.
He had a kind of just good match with Bryan Danielson, which should be impossible. Yeah. And like, this is going to sound like I'm dooming. I apologize. I'm just really not into this. And you've got Kazuchika Okada, it's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, farting out his own gentleman's free with Danielson, and it's like he's clearly here just to say bitch on TV and like have fun with a silly gimmick. I think his days as like the top wrestler in the world are long gone. on current evidence. It makes me sad because I think all 4 of these people are extremely talented, and I don't think this makes the most
Yeah,
use
it
of them.
felt like a bit of considering like when you think about AEW, especially from the beginning when Cody was saying like we got 2 years of storylines or whatever starting out.
Hell yeah.
It felt so impulsive to just be like, ratings are dwindling, fans aren't really, buying tickets anymore. Put Tony Khan in a neck brace.
Yeah, it just didn't work.
And then it was like it felt like they regretted it after week 1 almost, because it already started being like, no, actually, Christopher Daniels is here as the conduit for Tony Khan and what have you. Look, at the end of the day, we got a funny bump from Tony Khan out of it, but let's leave it all in 2024, shall we?
Yeah, I agree. Just not my. Sorry for sounding like a miserable asshole, but like it's just not my cup of tea.
Not my tempo.
Not my exactly greatest film of all time.
Oh, so I rewatched it again the other day. I've watched it about 5 times.
My birthday tomorrow. I might treat myself.
Oh, it is class.
It's like, if you look at that film, it's like almost identical storyline, like to like The Wrestler, or like the levels of obsession with your creativity and your art and stuff, or even like Black Swan.
I'm not even that much of a fan of drumming, to be honest.
Me neither. I don't give a crap about drumming, brother. But like, oh my god,
yeah.
J.K. Simmons.
Oh Jesus,
that's his name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost called him.
It's J. Jonah Jameson in my head, but yeah.
I almost called him another J.K. You don't want to get confused with her, brother. Anyway.
But let's move on to a brighter note for AEW. Big Dynamite tonight.
My favourite JK is Jamie Kennedy from WhatCulture.com.
I'm a JK and Joel fan from Radio 1 back in the day.
Jamiroquai.
Yes.
Sorry.
But big AEW Dynamite tonight. I say a brighter note. The world's on fire because Mox is in charge of Bryan Danielson's dead. But in better news, big return could be set for tonight's AEW Dynamite. I'm talking about Powerhouse Hobbs, who kind of gave it away, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
There's been talk for a while about him being cleared. He was actually on with Baby Huey on In the Click and was talking about his injury, saying he ruptured his patella tendon, which is a pretty gruesome injury in his words. It's already been put on the internet that I'm cleared. Time to pick up where I left off. But he popped up on NBC Bay Area. Talk about loving being on AEW Dynamite, loving performing in his hometown, talking about his absence, talking about training. I'm up at 5 in the morning. I sneak out of the house when my kids are sleeping, get in the gym for a couple of hours. Me and you the same. Will.
Yeah, every day.
But basically said, really excited to be doing Dynamite tonight, really excited to be back performing. So it looks like Powerhouse Hobbs could be making a return, which is fantastic news.
Great stuff. Nice. A criticism of AEW's business operations has been they don't do enough local media promotion. So in a way, it's cool to see this. Even if it's kind of giving it away just a little bit. But I love Will Hobbs. I love Powerhouse Hobbs. Loved him since day one.
You love his theme, don't you?
Yeah, but I do that all the time. Powerhouse. They're walking through the house. this pathetic, chubby guy in a hoodie. That's me, baby. I'm the Powerhouse now. No, I love Hobbs. I've loved him from the moment I first saw him as like a job guy on Dark. Like they used him as the local enhancement dude. Will Hobbs. I think he had blue trunks on. And he's just transformed himself into a monster.
Passes the airport test, doesn't he? Jesus,
he's
flying
awesome.
colours.
Love Hobbs. Hope they've got some good creative lined up for him.
Yeah.
There is some fun stuff you could do because obviously he has that Callis family affiliation. You could split him off from them. You could put him wherever the heck you want. I just hope he gets a nice big POOSH, a big push.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation online that this Mox thing is going to be a catalyst for long overdue pushers. You saw the shots of Garcia, of Darby Allin, obviously, Orange Cassidy, all that ilk in the immediate aftermath of Bryan Danielson's murder over the weekend. And yeah, Powerhouse Hobbs is another one right at the top of that list that we're like, okay, you've done a lot of fun stuff with him. He's obviously got an amazing, terrible story, but an amazing story nonetheless.
Overcoming awful stuff.
But yeah, let's go with him now. I know he's done big stuff in the past, but good to see him back. Let's get him wrestling on a regular basis.
Yeah, exactly. And as a wise band once said, if you're not from the Bay, you're a bitch. So there you go.
I didn't know that.
Let's. I'll let you listen to a bit of Tsunami later on. I'm sure you'll love it.
Yeah, sure.
Right, let's talk about Tsunami. No T, by the way.
Oh.
Let's talk about AEW, Jimmy Jacobs' creative stuff, Makeover. All of the changes going on behind the scenes. Got a little bit more on Jimmy J. Why am I doing the Stone Cold E.T.? Stone Cold E.T. A couple White Castles for the rattlesnake. This is again Wade Keller, PW Torch. I'm going to read all of this out to you, and you are going to decide what you think of it.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy Jacobs, according to Wade Keller, he gave notice to AEW and basically citing burnout and travel, and that the grind just wore away at him. That's why he left.
Not everyone can embrace the grind, as we know.
There you go, Triple H. You can't run from that grind. Observers of the creative process have told me that Jimmy's contributions were often just writing the scripts and timing out the shows and then having to rewrite and reformat whenever a wrestler got in TK's ear or TK had another idea.
Or see why he's burned out.
Yeah. Or something had to be changed for like travel or whatever. Yeah. It became rather unglamorous and a thankless job to have. Sounds to me like what QT Marshall had been doing in a lot of prior years. One person told me that when they saw Jimmy, he spent all day, TV days, on his laptop, taking notes, reformatting things, just trying to get the show formatted for the showtime. He was busy. He was so busy. The reason he was originally excited to come in, which was to pitch ideas and be part of the creative process, ended up not really happening much. So there's a lot of interesting perspectives on Jimmy Jacobs and his role in AEW. Some people have insinuated that he was really hands-on creatively. Wade's description makes it more sound like an admin thing. Yeah. Like just making sure everything fits or whatever. But yeah, I mean, look, I quit jobs because I've been burned out before, so fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into what he did or didn't do because there's loads of speculation about that online. But yeah, it does seem a shame that he's come in really excited. I've got loads of great ideas. Whether they're good or bad, I don't know, but I've got loads of ideas. I really want to get involved in it. Yeah, can you just do the script that's going to change half an hour before the show? Like, it sounds, whenever I hear about this, back when Vince was in charge in WWE in particular, it sounds so stressful. Yeah. Every single week on multiple days, especially in WWE, turning up going, right, so we know what we're doing today. What's that? Everything's completely changed. We need to move everything around and change everything that we were going to do. I don't think I could take 3 weeks of that, let alone however long Jimmy Jacobs was there for.
I don't know what to make of AEW creative reports because, like, it sounds like Tony needs help, but he's got 27 people on his creative team. So how much more help could you possibly... I don't know, man. It just sounds like a bit of an ambiguous situation. Yeah. That I just want the TV show to be good. So, and it is often good. So,
the big takeaway here is if you're feeling burnout, it's okay to take a break.
Take some time off. Go on holiday.
That's what I'm doing in a week's time.
Very ambitious.
I'm not burnt out. I bloody love this job, but you know.
Yeah.
Right, let's bring an update as well on the whole MJF Adam Cole situation. Lots of speculation on that after what happened with both of them returning at the weekend, despite the fact that the roles are kind of weird. Dave Meltzer provided an update on this, saying Max wants to be a heel, not a babyface now. People were happy to see Adam Cole back, but it was weird. From a babyface heel storyline consistency thing, easy for me to say, it's like they totally reversed everything they had, the whole angle. Yeah, because in theory, MJF in that storyline, disregarding what's gone on with Daniel Garcia and everything else, should be the sympathetic babyface. Yeah. He was betrayed by his best friend who formed this devil heel stable to screw him out the world title, etc., etc. And the only reason that Adam Cole disappeared is because his ankle exploded. Yeah. Yes, he got hit with that brainbuster from MJF a while back, but that didn't feel like the catharsis that you were hoping for in terms of how long that previous storyline had gone on for. But now, yeah, it just feels like it does make sense that Adam Cole's the babyface and MJF, his best role is a heel, let's be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's going to take a lot of skilled writing to make this make sense, because of the situation you've just described. MJF's a villain again, Cole's come back as a babyface, and like circumstantially it kind of works because obviously Cole's been gone for ages, so like immediately you're like, oh good, he's back. So like circumstantially you're like willing to receive him that way, but like in terms of the writing and stuff, it's like, no, he was a manipulative asshole last time he was here. So you've got some skilled writing to do there for sure. So I'm really interested to see what they do with it, honestly. Like, it might not work, fair play, but if they can believably write or just spit a couple of promos tonight that make me believe in it.
I'm willing to get on board with this, like you say. I'm willing to sort of kind of disregard elements of the story previously. A, because we all know Adam Cole's one of the nicest men in wrestling. Even Punk said it, for God's sake, right?
And if there's one guy who's known for being a nice guy,
exactly,
I love CM Punk, man.
We do. But yeah, I mean, Cole's obviously been through the bloody ringer as well over the past couple of years. The concussion stuff and then the ankle stuff is just so unfortunate timing-wise, and just his whole life situation. I just hope he gets to just get back doing what he loves. And also, like you say, the good news is if this hinges on a couple of promos or whatever to kind of re-establish where everyone stands, there's not many better in the game, in my opinion, than MJF for getting people to be like, yeah, I know you went through some bad stuff, but screw you, I absolutely hate you. He's going to say something terrible about Adam Cole probably tonight, and hopefully that'll get everyone back on board, because I want to see this.
Also, MJF is really good at turning complex situations, like sympathetic situations, into villainy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, some of the stuff that he dive into of his, like, the discrimination and persecution he's faced throughout his life when he was younger and going through his career and stuff, and like the Punk feud and those stripped back kind of promos, he's really good at flipping the switch between that and just being an absolute menace. So I've been dubious of how they would pull this off, and I will reserve judgment until I see how they do it. But I actually think they've got a chance of turning this around, and that could be a real triumph.
Big Dynamite tonight. Looking forward to that. We'll be previewing it later on the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast.
Jay White and Christian Cage, that's good.
What is Mox going to... What's happening?
No one's safe.
No one is safe.
No one's safe.
That's their tagline, for Christ's sake. Anyway, we will talk about it all later on today, as I said, on the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast. And me and Andy will be back later on today with an after news. For the time being, why not check out... Whoa, this video right here.
Scary video. Bye.